high school sport management, which is in Brooklyn. I prepared it for the students because I just wanted to give them some feedback and kind of give them my experiences. So we were talking within the executive board, and we thought that it wouldn't hurt to do something similar this semester. So for those that don't know, I interned at Octagon over the summer, this past summer. It's a basketball agency, or well, they're a sports agency. I was in the basketball division. These are some of the big names: Wes Matthews, Steph Curry, Jimmer Fredette, also Rudy Gay. But I really enjoyed it. It was exactly what I was looking for. They were at the first sport management career fair a couple years ago, and these are just some of the responsibilities that I had while I was there. I helped with whether it was recruiting new prospective, athletes. They had me working with them on that. I did PR for current athletes, especially the rookies. Did a lot of PR for them related to the NBA draft and preparing for that. I compiled statistics, and one interesting thing that I learned is that they actually have 2/3 of their clients are actually overseas in Europe or in Poland. They're all over the place in Turkey, and so did a lot of work with that to help them get contracts. Because even though there was NBA lockout, there's still plenty of work to do. So it was exactly what I was looking for, and so I just want to pass on kind of my experiences from my internship application, and hopefully that'll be helpful. And for me, it was all about preparation. I spent a ton of time looking into the company and making sure that my application was done to 110%. I didn't want to have any regrets. Wanted to go all out, so that I knew at the end of the day that if I didn't get the internship, it was because as bad as I wouldn't be good enough. It wasn't because I didn't try hard enough. So that's just my experience. So my first tip is research the company or research the job. For me, I looked into the organization, whether it was the organizational culture. I looked at their mission statement, their catchphrase, whatever it may be, just to learn about what it's like working with that company. Because these are a lot of things that will clue you in whether you actually even want to be there. So I did a lot of research into the job duties. I want to learn what I would be doing. Did I think that I would be good in that role? Did I think I was qualified? Did I think that I would enjoy it? So for me, when I just went over the job duties, I wanted all those things. I thought that would be a ton of fun. Getting the agency side, I personally want to work as a career on the player team side with player personnel, but getting this perspective I thought would be really cool going forward. And then also know the company background, know their history, know any major developments, because when you're interviewing, if you're able to walk into an interview and say, "Oh yeah, congratulations on this signing or this acquisition," and that would definitely impress them. It shows that you have an invested interest in the company. So these are just my tips. For me, I definitely did my homework, and funny enough, once I got the internship, I still wanted to research. I felt like I didn't know enough. So I was looking into the company, and one of their executives actually had tweeted, "Octagon interns come in tomorrow. I wonder if any of them are looking up the company." And I tweeted him back, and he was really impressed. From that moment on, every time I passed him in the hallway, he was open and was willing to talk. So definitely these things pay off, and it's a way to really make a bond with someone, and you never know what it could lead to. And so, like I said, just shows dedication, shows hard work, and Google is your friend. It's really not that hard to sit down and Google for 15, 20 minutes at a time. LinkedIn, especially, if you know who you're going to be interviewing with ahead of time, definitely, if you aren't on LinkedIn, you should join. LinkedIn them, see where they went to school, what their experience is, and, you might think it's creepy, but it's just being smart. You never know what topics of conversation or things in common you might have with them, and that might be your entry point into connecting with them and leading to the job. So, and tip number 2 is tell your network. And I know we're undergrads, but we all have our own network. Whether it's your parents, whether it's your teachers, whether it's former employers, just let people know. I'm really excited. I'm applying for this internship with the Celtics, or I'm really excited applying for this internship with this minor league baseball team. And you never know who they might know, or you never know if they have a recommendation. For me, I reached out to an alumni of UMass that I knew that worked there, or that had worked at Otcon, and she emailed the HR person. She didn't know the HR person, but because she was an employee, she had, it was more of a direct access, and that, who knows, maybe that was the difference maker, maybe it wasn't. But again, just going all out, working your hardest, I did everything that I could to make sure that I was in a position to hopefully succeed. And then you never know if having that connection will make the difference. Whether it's just moving your resume up to the top, maybe that'll be the best thing. Maybe it's even past the first step of screening. That might help you boost you to the final selection. So that's helpful. And everybody says it's not about what you know, it's who you know. But to take a step forward, I think that it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. And if someone can recognize you and know your name and things like that, that can make a huge difference. It's not just, we all know Mike Tannenbaum's and, alum of UMass Sport Management. So, but he doesn't know who we are. We have to make sure we want to build relationships, build connections with people that can lead to direct referrals and recommendations that hopefully lead to jobs and internships. Next, my tip number 3 is develop talking points. And these are talking points. It's not that complicated. It's just your experiences, your accomplishments, things that you enjoy talking about. And because when it's talking about yourself, you should be the expert. You shouldn't need to write down everything. If you want to talk about, something you did in high school, something you did volunteering, whatever you're passionate about, just figure out what you've done that applied to this job, or what you've done that just makes you stand out. And so when you look at the job duties, see, at this point, I can talk about this experience. And for me, I was a UMass basketball team manager for 2 years. So when I came in, I just mentioned that I had experience dealing with players and coaches and things like that. And so I don't know if maybe they thought that was a good thing, maybe not. But I knew that I wanted to work that into the conversation at some point. So once I developed these talking points, hopefully distinguish myself with my experiences, I want to figure out a way that I can bring them up and how I can convince them that I'm qualified for the job. And that relates back to tip number 1 of researching the job duties. So because I knew that they wanted someone that had compiled stats, that's something I would be doing. I mentioned I was a manager, and I had done things with the stats and worked with the team. And so, that shows that I was qualified and hopefully would be the right person for the job, and shows them that they should have interest in hiring. And I don't think that interviews or whatever are the time to be modest or humble. This is your opportunity. It might be your only opportunity to really prove to them that they should hire you and that you're the right person for the job. And so you want to elaborate. You could just sit there and read from your resume, or you could really elaborate, go into what doesn't come up from 1 or 2 lines on a sheet of paper. You want to give them the details that really helps you stand out and distinguishes you. Tip number 4, practice. And I know